So I'm going to read an excerpt from a story called Universal. Universal. I was in this bed that was in no way my bed. It was like pretty good amateur porn. It was like the videos my brother got of ugly people fucking. Nights as kids, we'd watch these videos, me and my brother and his friends in our basement. And we'd drink what my brother's friends brought to drink. And we'd laugh our heads off at these ugly people doing their fucked up, ugly shit. It was just like amateur porn. Because of his soft body, I could see the outline of in the dark. Because of the ugly words he was saying into my hair. The words were only ugly out of context. Like if I said them here or on this street. Like if I said them to a stranger or to your mother. I should say he was a doctor. I should say I was not impressed. I was only impressed with the smaller details, like his eyes, his wrists, the words he used, like the doctor's kit beneath his bed. It looked just like you'd think it would look. It looked like the kits we played with as kids. There were tools in it that looked like toys. I was prettier than the girls in the videos. I was in better shape than the girls, but let's face it, I was just physically in better shape. My brother's friends wanted to see me undressed. They wanted to see me bent like the girls in the videos. They wanted my legs behind my head, a bored look on my face. They wanted me drugged and dumb and sweating, and my brother, I know, could have said to them, stop. It was my brother who told me about religion. It was not our religion he told me about. We had no religion in our house. He told me about his girlfriend's religion. It was terrifying what he told me. Something about the rapture, and I was terrified. Something about bodies floating upward into the air. I didn't believe in the rapture because I didn't believe in religion. But I could imagine my body floating upward, my head pushing through the ceiling. I could feel the force that would push my body straight through to the room upstairs. I should say something here about my father, but mostly I couldn't get near him. I mean, he was too important to get near. There was all the important work he did, and there was the study where he did his work, and there was a universe spinning around it. I was in this bed that was not in any way my bed, because I was not good at getting out of things. It was my biggest flaw that was not a physical flaw. There was always something that made me stay too long, some desire to keep a light lit, a desire I didn't understand. And I could ignore what needed to be ignored, like his soft body pressing mine into the bed, like his girlfriend's things all over the room, like my time, my mind, like your pride, my brother might have said, and where is yours, I might have said back. My brother thought he was better than me, just because he met a girl he thought was kind, just because he left the house at 17, just because he stuck me with my father in the house, just because, he would say as a kid, he would pull my hair, punch my arm. I'd say, why'd you do that? Just because. It doesn't matter how I got to his bed. I mean, the specific details don't matter. We'd been to a party, a dinner. I was just too drunk. And I'd pushed myself as far as I could. I mean, I'd pushed myself, if you can imagine, to pushing nearly out of myself. It was all of it too ugly. Just imagine the ugliest desperation. Just imagine the bloom just before blooming. I mean, imagine the bloom before one can call it a bloom. There was a giant tree behind our house. I could see the tree from my bedroom. It was not our tree, but the neighbor's. There was a tree house in the tree. There were rungs one could climb and a tiny door. I was not supposed to be in the tree house, but the neighbor's kids were grown and gone, and there were bird sounds I liked, and there were leaves, and there was the sky getting darker, the sky getting dark, and there was my father calling my name, and again, and the birds calling louder than that. Our father and mother, before she left, fought brutally. She would stand outside his study screaming, and I would slam my door, scream, stop, and my brother as well would scream, stop. But my brother's stop was directed at my slamming my door and not at my mother and father's fighting. And then my slamming my door was directed at my brother's screaming, stop. And then my mother's screaming was directed at me and my brother. I did not mean to push as hard as I did, but I leaned over the table, took hold of his arm. Everyone watched as I wrote my name across his wrist. Looking back, I have no answer for why. I blame in part my drunkenness. I blame in part his wrist. But these things, of course, weren't really to blame. Not when you think of what it is to pin blame. Not when you think of what it is to point at the face of the thing you truly blame. I liked amateur better than professional. Amateur had those things you shouldn't see, like broken nails, like messy hair, like fat. It had people who looked like the ugly couple next door fucking, or your parents' ugly friends fucking, or your parents. I liked it because of something having to do with desperation, the amateur's desperation becoming mine, their rush to get off becoming my rush to get off, and that fucked up feeling like the universe was controlled in my wretched gut.